Got it. Thank you, brother.
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, hello, brother Chris. Thank you so much for again hosting this, the Writers Workshop, here on the Voice 17104 Harrisburg. Always glad to be here on a Friday night. God has been blessing us for a long time to make this happen. Very seldom do we miss, you know. And so this has been good stuff. And it looks as if the station is going real well. Congratulations to you, my brother. And, you know, just keep it moving, man. For those persons who are just tuning in for the first time, you want to tell them a little bit about the voice?
Sure. Actually, since I think 2014, we've actually created a platform for everyday people like you and I. You're a little bit more famous than I am, but everyday people like myself, we've created a platform, and you joined along as well. Been such a pillar and such a support system for the Voice 17104. Again, it's just created for everyday people like us to have a voice to the world. We're
Absolutely.
turnkey operation as far as multimedia, broadcasting, voiceovers,
Mhm.
commercials, anything that deals with digital media, flyers, we're pretty much acclimated with and pretty much can accomplish for you in a short period of time. So we have about 2 decades of experience. So we just offer that experience to help others to have a platform and a voice to not just their local community, but to the world abroad, sir.
All right, all right. And you do a fantastic job. I appreciate you. And you
Thank you so
know, in
much.
fact, I have a flyer I wanted to bring up tonight, but I'm gonna see if I can maybe send it to you. It's about
Okay,
Juneteenth.
please do.
We're having a program on June the 15th over at the Bose, no, not Bose. What is it? It's the elementary school right next to Ben Franklin. I'm sorry, Ben Franklin Elementary School, and that's on Sixth Street, right up off of like Broad and Verbeck Street there, Sixth and whatever. And it's going to be from I think 11 and no 10 to 3. I think it is 10 to 3, and it's free and open. You know, and we're going to be celebrating Juneteenth like so many other people will be, and we're going to have a lot of fun. So we want you to know about that. I'm seeing if I get this flyer to Brother Chris, and maybe
Okay, please do. Yes,
yeah,
sir.
maybe you can pull it up for us. The sister Henderson just created it, and I received it from Nicole Wilkerson.
Yes,
I
sir.
was trying to, save it like I normally do, and then send it over. So we'll see. I'll keep playing with it. If I was as good as you are with this stuff, I'd have had it up and running by now.
Yeah,
But
no worries, no worries. That's why we're here. See, I'm looking for it as well. I
okay,
don't see it on your page or Nicole's page. Would it be
yeah,
on
Nicole.
Sharita's page or no?
Let me see. I don't know. She just sent it to me by. Let me see what I need to do. Wait a minute. So I don't know if you can see this or not. Hold on. Hold this up. Get it out the light. No, it's not going to show. Yeah. So, and this is what I'm trying to send to you, this right here. But anyhow, I'll figure it all out. But it's a nice. Sarita is the one who created it. Nicole sent it to me right around 6:07 this evening, and usually I can press on it, and then it says, save it to. It's just not happening. It's just not happening. Let me see if I can send to the recipient. Let me see here once. Okay. But anyhow, I just want you to know we have this wonderful program coming up, and we try to do something every month. And again, it's at Ben Franklin School. For those of you who don't know, that's 1205 North Sixth Street. Again, it's free to the public. We're gonna have food, vendors, music, poetry, song, and dance. And it's going to be off the hook. It's going to be off the chart. Just a lot of fun. And we're celebrating a very special time. It's called Juneteenth. And June 19th is generally when Juneteenth is celebrated, when enslaved African people who were still in bondage did not know that they had been set free. But they were deep in Texas, and finally the word got to them, and that's how Juneteenth kind of came about. Um, Anyhow, let me see what I can do here. Yes, yes, son. If I can find Brother Chris Thomas here, let me see. What's your phone number, Brother Chris?
It is 717-903
Okay. Well, maybe I'll put your
0497.
name in. Let me see what it was. Says two. No, it's not just. Let me see. Okay, I was to say two. Okay. Maybe I'll just put your name in. Let's see if that'll work.
Okay. Yeah, I see the one from last year, but I don't see the one from this
Yeah.
year.
Uh, okay. Thomas. Okay. Saying no search results. Huh. That's interesting. Maybe it's just under Chris. I said Christopher. Well,
I
maybe
think
I'll send
these
it to the
are
voice.
okay. Take your
Yeah, maybe.
time. These are
Okay.
actually some of the memories from last year's Juneteenth. I think you and
Oh,
sister.
good. Okay. If you had that, all right. Yeah. Ah, yeah. Okay. Yeah. That sister did a great job putting up those decorations.
It looks good.
Mhm.
Is that in Arlington?
Absolutely. Yeah, yeah. Yeah, that's Arlington. Yeah, it's downstairs. Mhm. Yes, it is. Yeah, that was a great program that last year. We always have Nicole Wilkerson who does Nicole's Making It Happen, and she's is the events coordinator. And she always sets it up real nice, and the people had a ball. They came in and did a great job. Really embraced it, and that's a shirt I'll probably be wearing again this year. We'll see. Juneteenth. Yeah, we'll see. Okay. Now, this is not doing it, but I wanted to do. That's okay. Now
Okay,
that's
yeah, we'll
Nicole's
get it to me a
mother,
little
and
later on.
yeah, we'll get it to you. That's Nicole's mother, and what's her name? And her I guess cousin, I think it was.
I'll see Brother Bo Feast there in the
Oh,
building.
okay. Yeah, yeah. Vlad came in. That's right. He sure did. Yeah. Yeah, and that was the early part of the program. A lot of folks really showed through. Yes, indeed. But I want people to know that we're going to do it again this year. And also, we're doing something with the Goodwin Memorial Baptist Church. I was asked the Writers Workshop to come back because we did their youth either last year or year before last. I forget one or two of those. And we had a ball. It was a good time. And so we're looking forward to working with Goodwin Memorial again, celebrating Juneteenth. So I'll tell you more about that
And
as well.
and one more
And
thing here, I ran. Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry, Dr. Gas.
all three of these people that you see right in front, they are chaplains. They were working on the chaplains program through Life Esteem, and all of them are volunteering. At least they are capable of volunteering for UPMC in the various hospitals. We have 10 hospitals, and they can go into either of the hospitals, and they're called volunteers from the Office of Spiritual Care. You know, but our institute is called the Chaplains Training Institute. So, yeah, good people.
Awesome, awesome. I think there's one more picture here.
Uh,
Then I have something interesting I ran across here. Prior guest that still
oh yeah, yeah,
is getting
yeah.
a lot of rant and raves. You want to talk about this image here?
Yeah, that's what this was great. We just did this past week. I think it was Wednesday, I believe it was. Anyhow, we interviewed this brother that is brother Emmanuel Beya Thomas. And he came on and talked about his book and also the organization he created and the fact that he is a returning citizen, having been incarcerated and all the great work he's doing now. And it was a great interview. And that interview will air, I think this coming Sunday at 6 a.m. on WHP TV 21. We have an early morning show, but yeah, he came in. We also had another one image that we put up, a brother by the name of Micah, um, I'm going to say Thomas Davenport, Micah Davenport. He was a great basketball player for Harrisburg School District. They won the state championship, the first state championship ever won. You can see how tall that brother is. Make me look short. Anyhow, then he went on to win a national championship for junior colleges down in Maryland. And he was just inducted in the the Hall of Fame, not basketball, athletic Hall of Fame for the Harrisburg School District. They had a big celebration. A number of people were inducted, and he was one. And so, and then Mike is working. He has his own, organization working with a lot of young people doing basketball, but also more than basketball. It's about life. But also, he's helping with the AXO program. So last year, he went up to Boston with us and was one of sort of like helped to chaperone some of the young people that. And he's on his way out to Las Vegas with the AXO as well. So he's done a lot of good stuff in our community. Give him back. Yes, indeed. And so his interview actually would be, I think, 2 weeks from this coming Sunday, because we do three. And we also had Patricia Robinson on, who is the founder of Evolve, trade school. I forget the full title, but she's teaching people how to do, you know, different things with, the trades, how to fix, how to do plumbing and all that kind of good stuff. So she's doing a great job as well. Three good interviews. Yep. Yeah, so anyhow, that's what's happening here. Yeah, Brother Chris. So generally, yeah, I don't know how I can, I'll say something to Nicole and see if I can get her to forward this on so you can, show the flyer. I know she's out right now. She said she was out with her family doing some things, so, uh, you know, it is what it is.
And here's a picture of Patricia Robinson. It's not the picture of the video that you done, but a picture of her at work
Oh,
doing her.
yeah, there you go. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So she has young people, she's teaching them at least three or four different, areas. I know electricity is one. I think carpentry is one. I forget all three at this point, but anyhow, she's done a great job with that. And they're located in the old Hack building that was on Third Street, that big monstrosity of a building. And so she's located in there and really taking off, doing some great stuff. So yeah. Anyhow, so hopefully tonight we'll be joined by a few people. I actually have a couple of folks that may come on tonight. It couldn't be they couldn't say definite when or all that kind of good stuff, but they're interested. All of them have books that are in the process of being published, and they're working with Terry Washington Martinez, and she, is like I said, our oldest daughter, and she has what's called T-Dub Publishing, and it's amazing the number of people that she's currently working with just in the Harrisburg area here. There's a lot of people, who was taking advantage of her work, which is just great. So we're happy about that. Yes, indeed. Yeah, I think I may have gotten this. Let me see if I can pull this up real quick. I may have been able to
Terry's
what I
joining you
wanted to
now,
do.
Dr. Gaston.
Say it again.
My apologies. I
No.
said my apologies. Terry's joining you now.
Oh, Terry, good, wonderful. Okay, might be Jeff actually. Yes, Jeff, brother Jeff. All right.
Okay.
How you doing, man? Good, good. Thank you for coming on. This is Jeff Washington, everybody. We can't see your book. Somehow it's blurred. Like I don't
I
know.
I
But,
sent the hi, Mr. Nate. I sent
hey,
the picture to Chris. So hold
oh,
on.
wonderful. Okay,
I sent him the
Chris.
file. You can see that because it's blurring. Let me try something real quick.
Okay. Brother Chris, just Terry said she sent that to you. So maybe we can find it somewhere.
Yeah, I'm pulling it up now. Yeah, if you take the blur off the
That's
video.
what I'm trying. Chris,
Yeah.
where do I do that? I'm trying to
Yes,
find it.
ma'am. It will be under. Yes, ma'am. It's under video and under choose virtual background. Just choose
Thank
none.
you. All right. I
Yes,
just
ma'am.
changed it. So there. But I'm sure it's still not a great picture of the book, but
I'm
Mhm.
pulling it up now, though.
all right, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
So, I have all the stuff being put on my. I'll talk to you about this another time, Chris. Chris is like the troubleshooter, how to do all this stuff. Anyhow, yeah. Okay, the karate guy. Okay, there you go.
Yes.
Those who don't know, introducing you to Jeff Washington, and that is that the actual cover of the book. Yeah, it is. I see that now. Okay,
Yes.
and Jeff, and just recently, I think it was just last year, Jeff, you were inducted in the Hall of Fame, Martial Arts Hall of Fame. Is that right?
Pennsylvania Karate Hall of Fame.
All right. Okay. Tell us all about it. Tell us about your book and also about your career in martial arts.
I'll maybe start from back 1968. I was a kid going into a neighborhood where we had a lot of different things, fighting and stuff like that. So, um, I decided to start taking karate, and it was interesting for me to try to just play around with it at first, just like most kids do. They want to just say, "I'm going to do this, I'm going to do that," but then all of a
Mhm.
sudden it just became an obsession, and I kept at it. Like I said, I've been doing it for since 1968, and I'm still at it. I'm still working on it. And
Fantastic.
this book is a 40-year project. I started this back about 40 years ago, and I started this title before Karate Kid. So everybody say, "Oh, karate!" No, Karate Guy is not about like the Karate Kid, even though it has karate in it. Um, Karate Guy is mainly not the person that doing karate. Karate Guy is a trophy. And my brother saw me with this trophy, he looked at the trophy and said, "Hey, it hasn't even had a little karate guy on it." And that's where the name came from.
Okay.
But I didn't want to, like I said, when I finished the book, I don't want people to say, "Oh, he got that from the Karate Kid." No, Um, it had me learning martial arts, and it was very difficult. Like anything, is when you have an obsession and you want to try to do it, but it turned out pretty good. So, like I said, I got kept at it. Now inducted into the Hall of Fame, and I have my schools, and I even started my own style called Eat Soma, and it's just wonderful for me right now. Just enjoying my martial arts.
All right. And you have been, you've trained a lot of people in this area and you've done a lot of good work. Tell us a little bit about, that. And
I wish
also,
I could tell you how many people I've trained in this area, but
uh-huh.
it had to be in the thousands. That's how many people I've trained. I have kids walk up to me and say, "Oh, I remember when you taught me." And like before, I was looking at the top of their head. Now I'm looking at their face to face with beards and stuff. I said, "Okay,
Yeah.
yeah, I do remember you. Yeah, okay." All right, I don't, but because it's been so many, and girls and boys. I have some kids coming up to me and talking to me in Japanese. Oh, I remember when you taught me that. I said, "Look, guess what? I taught them something. And I'm so that's something.
That's fantastic.
And what I tried to let my students know, I'm teaching a Japanese style, and
Okay.
I wanted them to understand that I wanted to learn. So maybe one day, some of my Japanese friends might be coming over to Harrisburg, and they can speak some Japanese, so they know a little bit of Japanese and speak back to them.
All right.
That's just one of the things that we do.
Fantastic. So now, are you teaching classes now, right now?
I am teaching classes now at the Central Penn Fitness Center, Wednesdays at 6 and
Okay.
Saturdays at 1. And I
Fantastic.
have about maybe 15 students that are training hard, and we're getting ready for tournaments and still doing the same thing. I'm still doing the same thing I've been doing the last 50 years.
Fantastic. Good stuff. So more about the book then. Is the book, who's the book geared toward? What audience are you looking for?
I think a karate audience would like it more, but it also would for somebody wants to see perseverance, learn about their own passions and a lot of knowledge about themselves.
Okay.
More for, I think he was, that was good, but more for younger, like
Oh,
young adult or adults or,
Jerry, you can come on this camera too if you want to.
oh, hello.
Yeah, come on the camera. In fact, tell them because you are
you can say younger adults might like it.
you're the publisher, yeah, and you're the publisher, right, Terry?
Yes, sorry, let me turn my light on.
Okay,
Trying to do this.
it's okay.
All right, so yes, I'm Terry Martinez. I have T-Dub. I'm sorry.
Do you want me to come over there?
Oh, you can come right here.
I don't know
Yeah.
what people listening.
I have a publishing company, T-Dub Publishing. I've been on here, a few times before.
Mhm.
And this is one of the current projects I'm working on.
I'm a project.
Yeah, he's a project for Jeff, but I currently working with some other poets. Hopefully in the next, I would say 2 to 3 months, there'll be some other poetry books that I release for authors that I'm working with. And I really, really want this summer, if all these other people would leave me alone,
Mhm.
I have a book that I've been thinking about in my head and trying to putting things together here and there. I think it's going to be called Finding Joy, but that's going to be my next book that I put out. Hopefully, like I said, I'll get some time to work on it this summer, and maybe that'll be out, end of this year, beginning of next.
So tell us about the couple titles you have already. You've already published some books of your own.
Oh my goodness, yes. So my original series back from 2010, um, Yesterday's Lies, Today's Truth, and Tomorrow's Aftermath. That's a 3-part series.
Mhm.
I also have an ebook series called Me and Mr. Wrong and Me and Mr. Right Now.
All right.
Um, Another novel that I did with another author, Julie Bellatrix, we wrote one called Love, Lies, and Fight. And then I have my last book that I put out year and a half ago is called Love Lessons.
Mhm.
And I have a whole series of journaling for self-care books. And then I have some self-care journals that I put out as well. I think that's it. Am I missing anything?
You did a lot. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. So when you look at
Jeff,
Jeff's book, when Jeff said he's been at it for a long time. What's your take on it in terms of the audience that might really find it, the karate book,
I could see his audience being, the young adult audience. And I think he's right. Like when we tag it on Amazon, which will be the primary platform, I think that we're going to tag it as something for, I don't know, 12 and up,
yeah, I think
12 and up. And, obviously we'll add in things about, karate. It's the name, the title is going to kind of give that away. But, this isn't, how old is the main character when he starts karate?
10.
He's 10, but it follows him through to young adulthood, right? Yeah. So the book really spans, I mean, it really encompasses, his initial introduction to karate and some of the challenges he faced along the way. And like I said, it kind of brings you to when he becomes a young adult.
And it shows you
oh,
that, like in the Karate Kid, you can't learn karate in 6 months, 2 or 3 months. It takes years of training,
Yeah.
and this will show more of that.
okay. So,
Now,
and
Got it
one
kind
thing,
of.
I'm
one
sorry.
thing I want to make
Tiffany.
it clear to the audience, this is really a novel, right? It's a novel, it's a story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Yeah, okay.
it's not necessarily, it's not like a how-to thing.
Yeah, thank you.
That's
Okay.
another book.
Yeah.
What's that book going to be called? Your,
It's going to be called the 8 Lessons of Each Soma. That's
Yeah.
showing you how to learn my karate style that I've made myself.
yeah, so that's book number 3, I think.
Mhm.
All right, so I want to mention his first book, and I was looking for, I have a copy around here somewhere, but it's not at my fingertips. Coach Cam.
Coach Cam. I
Oh,
enjoyed
yeah,
that.
okay. Tell
Do
us
you
about
remember
that.
that one?
I
Yeah,
remember, yeah, I forgot about that.
yeah,
So,
Coach Cam. So this
yeah,
is his second. This would be
okay,
his second book.
yeah. So tell us about the Coach Cam book. I totally forgot about that.
I used to work at the Camp YMCA. I can say that now, but it's not in my book. I can't say it in the book because I don't want to get any infringement rights. There was a gentleman there named Cam. I'm not going to go see his real name. His name was Cam, and he was a very dedicated individual, and he helped the kids there and taught them basketball. Matter of fact, to the point where he had their team go to the championship. Is one of his coach, one of the teams that he coached, and he always cared for the kids. But he was a little bit rough around the edges, but he still got his point across.
Yeah.
And he taught them how to play basketball. Even to this day, there's a lot of kids talk about Cam and what he used to do for them, and he gave it to them straight. He called them names that they can't say that anymore to people, but he said when they needed it, and it's really was a good. Well, when I first wrote the book, I didn't think it was going to ever become of anything, but my dear friend here, she found the book and said you should make this a book, and she made it, and she really helped me a lot making a book, and I like what everything that she did with it. It really I had some people who gave me some good input about it, say that they liked it, it really inspired them.
That's
Um,
excellent. That's good.
and that's what I did like about it.
And that book is available on Amazon, is that right?
It is, and I was going to say, it's on the TDUB Publishing website. So if Chris could pull up the www.tdubpublishing.com. Coach Cam is on there, as are all of the other books that I talked about that I've done. And there's, books, the Writer's Workshop Anthology is on there. Mr. Nate, your books that I've done for you are on there. So, worth giving that a shout out.
All right, all right. So, we do have this event coming up. I don't know if Chris Thomas has the flyer. I tried to send it to him on Juneteenth, which will be at the Ben Franklin School. And Jeff, I don't know if you, want to have any of your books there, or Terry, if you'd like to be a vendor and have any of your books there, we can certainly make that happen. It's going to be a Saturday, 15th from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And we're going to have a lot of fun. So, hey, hopefully we'll get a good turnout and you'll be able
Yeah,
to.
I will be out of town that day, but I don't know, Jeff, if
Okay.
you,
I'll see what I can do.
yeah.
I do want to say this too. how I started writing. I forgot to tell you that.
Mhm.
A friend of mine from in karate, he was a martial artist with no legs. His name was Henry Smalls,
Yeah.
and he didn't have any legs. And I kept on telling him, "You should write a book. You should write a book. You should write a
Yeah.
book." And he looked back at me and said, "You know what? You should write a book. You should write a book." And I said, "You know what you write?" So I started writing. That's how I started writing.
Hmm.
Did
So,
he ever
one
publish?
of the things,
He is a music publisher now,
Oh,
but
producer.
yeah, music producer now.
Mhm.
But he could have wrote a book. He's a phenomenal. He's been to Japan and been to Canada, doing his martial arts and displaying himself. He's in Hawaii now. That's why I don't know all the stuff that he's done.
yeah.
And we're friends, but we're not like real close friends. But he calls me and tells me some things he does, and he's a phenomenal man. If you, I'm sorry to give you his shout out. His name is Henry Smalls. Henry Smalls.
Okay.
If you look him up, you'll be astounded of him. That's what I said. That was my inspiration. I've seen a man do karate with no legs. That inspired me a lot, and That's why I keep on doing what I do.
So, what's your style? What's the name of your style that you do, Jeff?
The style that I teach now, or my style, is called It Soma, meaning the true spirit of martial art.
Hmm.
And the style that I started with was Kale Kushinkai. That means ultimate truth. And then I went to another style called Ishinru, which means one heart, one mind. And then I combined them all together, and it's now Itsoma.
Okay, good stuff. I know at one time you also were doing the swords. Uh, I forget what that was called.
I do teach Kendo. I do teach Kendo, Reun Kendo. I do teach that and also. My teacher made me a samurai. So I can say, first I can say, you met a samurai. I am it. I am that.
All right, fantastic. So tell us about when you were inducted into the Hall of Fame. What was that whole thing about? How did you get, notified that you've been inducted, all that?
A good friend of mine that I taught karate to, got actually became important part of that Hall of Fame. And she came to me and she said, Miss Lisa Baltimore, she said, you know what, I'm going to induct you into the Hall of Fame. I said, oh, okay. I didn't know anything what that even was. And then she
Mhm.
told me that, you have to be a part of the Hall of Fame. And then so she inducted all of my classmates in the Golden Dragon School. And we all went and we got inducted into the Hall of Fame. And I really enjoyed that night. That was a wonderful night. And it was about our accomplishment in karate. I mean, back in the day, I always have to say it like that. We used to be a feared school. When we go to karate tournaments and stuff, they were like, "Uh-oh, the Golden Dragons are here," and I said, "Yeah." And then and we just did our thing. And is not thinking that everything is how can I put it, Japanese in karate. Sometimes there's African Americans in the karate also, and
Mhm.
we showed up. We showed up and showed out.
I'm
I,
amazed that in this area, we have some legendary martial artist persons like yourself. This Fred Waters. There
oh
was
yeah,
what's the guy, Preston? I
he
forget Preston's full name.
Preston. He's gonna be mad at me. Kevin Preston. Woo!
Kevin, that's right, Kevin. Yes, Kevin Preston. Did you know Burnett? Did you know a guy named
Ryan
Burnett?
Burnett. Oh
Yeah,
yes,
Ronnie Burnett, absolutely. And we can go on and on and on.
and Lee
Uh,
Banks.
oh, and also, of course, Ali.
Oh
Ali,
yes.
Ali Muhammad.
I think his last pronunciation was King Aduk. I think that's his
Yes.
last.
Okay.
But
Okay.
oh my God, yeah, my goodness, yes, he was one of Moses Powell's students. Yes,
Different.
me,
Mhm.
I was really devastated when he did pass away, but he was a very devastating martial artist, a very devastating
Yeah.
martial artist
Yeah.
in
Yeah.
this area.
And he trained his sons also. They were studied
Mhm.
under him for a long time. So this area certainly has been, it always amazed me when they had the movie that they did down on Front Street and they used the restaurant. It looked like they tore the whole restaurant up. Then you go in the next day and, there's the restaurant. I'm like, wait a minute. But that was cool. Were you part of that whole process? I remember that. I
And
forget who.
that particular movie right there, the one that was in that one restaurant, the Chinese restaurant, I was in that. I was in one of the guys got beat up.
Okay.
It was called Super Fights, and I was in that. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Good stuff, man. Harrisburg's on the
And
map.
I was also in another movie. I shouldn't say that because it was kind of funny, but it is.
Yeah.
I was in the movie Karate Kid.
Ah.
Now, here it is. I'm going to give you the whole story about this. Back in the 70s, they had a tournaments, and they said if you win 3 tournaments, you'll get a feature part. They did say feature part. You get a part in the Karate Kid. So I won 3 of the tournaments, and they said, okay, you're in a tournament. You're in the Karate Kid. So they set me up to New York, and that's where we filmed that, because it was mainly filmed out in California, but we filmed it in New York.
Wow.
And I walked into the place, and they said, and I was about close to 100 guys, and they said, you 50 over here, which was me, get up on the bleachers, and you 50 down there, get your uniforms and go on down there, and got on the floor. So that's what happened. So what happened? They would say to me, oh well, all of us, 100 people. He said they would say yay. Of course, I said, yay, you move over here. Okay, put your arm up. Say, hey, Daniel. And we said all the lines and tell us to say. He said, great, great, great. Okay, lunch. I said, okay, lunch. I thought, well, I'm going to get down on the floor and do the karate next. But no, say, okay, well, thank you for coming. You can. Now, I always say this. I always give my kids, I said, now, if you look at the one scene, if you pause it, you'll see my arm right there.
That's
But
really
I was on the cutting room floor. That's where I was. But I was in the movie. So
That's right. You were there. You saw it. Yeah. So
But
this is great stuff. I appreciate you coming on, man. Terry, real quick, I know some people are out there thinking about, publishing and everything. So what is the process to get with T-Dub to get some work done?
They can visit my website. There's contact information on the website, or the email is tdubpublishing@gmail.com.
Okay.
But they just need to reach out to me, and we can have a conversation, and I can see what they need. And the thing I will say, I know you know this, Mr. Nate, but this isn't my full-time job. I do still have a day job. So I work with people as my schedule permits. Right now I'm kind of, for the summer, like I said, I really wanted to try to focus on my next book, but
Well,
I
let me
do
ask you-
have,
Yeah. Can you see the screen real quick?
yeah.
Oh, you just took it down. I don't know if
Yeah,
you
I
took
saw
it
it.
down.
Yep.
Okay, real good. Okay.
Yeah.
ahead.
So, they just reach out. Like I said, they can go to tdubpublishing.com, or just, tdubpublishing@gmail.com, and send me an email, and we can connect and see what I can do to help them out.
Fantastic. So that's good stuff. Good stuff. But yeah, well, Jeff, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you coming on. And now,
See you again.
again, is the book already ready, or are you still?
Oh, no.
Friday?
It's
No.
It's in progress. It's in progress.
Okay, it's in progress. Okay.
Coach Cam is done, but this one is in
Right.
progress.
The
okay.
Karate Guy, we are still in the editing and formatting process. I would say maybe by August we'll be done and ready.
Okay, wonderful.
I don't think it'll be before then. He thinks it's going to be sooner than that, because how many pages? 150?
Yeah.
It's 150, and we're on page 74.
Okay.
And he thinks that, we're going to get so much further quickly, but there's a lot of work to be done here. So
I didn't think it was gonna be done quicker. I'm just whatever. I'm happy to just to start this or keep this going. Like I said, this is a 40-year project. And I'm just happy.
Well,
for doing it.
Yeah.
Mr. Nate, his part is mostly done. It's written.
Okay.
The manuscript is written. Now it's the editing and moving things around. And one of the things that we're working on tonight is, he is very familiar with karate, right?
Yeah.
He knows it like the back of his hand.
That's about it.
So, well, he's writing about karate, and I know he's appealing to people that are familiar or maybe are interested in karate. So I'm trying to help him make things make sense. It makes complete sense to him, but I'm reading it and I'm like, I have no idea what you're talking about right here. So that's kind of where we are. We're trying to fine tune some things and just make it enjoyable for a wider audience. I'll say it that way.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
A lot of karate people would love it. So, I understand all of it. And then the other people say, I don't understand where that was.
Right.
I understand that.
So we're trying to strike a middle ground there.
One thing that the other part is not only the editing and making it more with a wider appeal, but then there's the distribution and getting people to actually buy it. And I would think, man, that you could really, because these are so many martial arts schools around the country, that will probably buy into this book. And I like the title, Karate Guy. I think a
And
lot of
when
people
they make a
resonate.
movie out of it, you'll like it better.
Okay, that would be, hey, how about that? Get a movie out of that bad boy. Why not? Yeah, why not?
Okay.
I'm glad to hear that. I was thinking when Terry first mentioned it that it was more of a how-to kind of book, but it's actually a novel, and it follows a young man, from what I'm hearing, from 10 to 18 or something like that. By the time the book is over.
No,
Um,
it's a real story. What's his name?
Jeffrey.
His name is Jeffrey?
Yes.
Okay,
Ah,
that's a problem. I don't think we've identified his name, have we?
yes.
Okay, I didn't. I guess I read over that. Anyway, it's being told from Jeffrey's perspective,
Right.
Mhm.
which is good. So
It has some of it is real, and some is not to say fantastically real, but different. Some things that happened to me and some things didn't.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay, so in a
so
sense, it's sort of autobiographical, there's certain
yeah,
parts of it on. Okay,
yep,
all right.
so loosely based on a true story.
Yeah.
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 Yeah,
Okay.
Lucy based on true story. Okay,
Mhm.
that's
Based
good
on the true
stuff.
story, correct. Yeah, I agree
Now,
with you.
Jeff, do you still go out and do like demonstrations? So we have all these events, and I could just see you, let's say at the Juneteenth thing, maybe doing a little demonstration and getting some young people, kids,
I would
adults
welcome.
up and moving.
I would welcome having any demonstration. My students are ready. Finally got them ready for a good demonstration.
Okay,
I know they would love it. We did a demonstration for living water last year. I'm sure they would love to keep on doing it.
let's do that, man. So look at your calendar, see whether or not June the
We
15th might
enjoyed
work
it.
for you.
Okay.
And let's talk about, trying to get you up there, and that'd be great. I remember we had a group that came in from across the river. They were in Camp Hill, and somehow I met this guy. We just started talking, so I invited him to come, and he brought this massive group of people with him. And the parents all came, of course, and all that kind of stuff. And they did a great job. And I think that's the only time we ever had a martial arts demonstration, the whole time. And here you are sitting right here. Didn't even think about it until like right now. So it's like, man, okay. And you have students, so let's make it happen.
Mm.
Okay,
All
good
right.
stuff. Well, that's my homework assignment for this evening. Then we'll try to figure out how to make that happen. But no, seriously, man, if your school can do it, we're welcome to have you. And have you ever thought about maybe writing some little, not just a book, but articles, just little articles about, the
I
art, keeping
have
people. Mhm.
written many things that I have not even begun to try to write down. I can't say put into a booklet or anything. But I like I said, I wrote so many different things when I was. That's what we're going through now. When I started Karate Guy, I was half asleep sometimes and writing some stuff. And when we were going through, I was like, "This is what I wanted to say, Terry." But she's like,
Mhm.
"I don't understand what you're talking about." I said, "Late night sleeping and a little bit of this." And I still wrote it anyway, and then there it is. And now we're
Mhm.
defining it now. But
Yeah.
written a
Yeah.
lot of different things.
There's a lot of stuff.
Yeah, that's good. That's good. The reason why I bring that up is because a lot of times people always think it's just a book, but there's, newspapers, there's magazines, there are, people have newsletters. And so a lot of folks who are just into writing just love writing. And so they write for all those different outlets. And the other thing that's big, I noticed on social media are the reels now. They said instead of putting a whole, thing on hour, just do little 5 minutes, 3 minute, reels, and more people watch that than they will
No.
something that's longer. So even with a book, that's a great idea, and I'm proud of you doing it, man. But think about some of these because you're an African American person pushing martial arts, but you're also just a person pushing martial arts. And I was thinking about some of the black newspapers, magazines, and others that might be looking for a unique voice, unique perspective on all that. Yeah. So. Anyhow, this is Jeff Washington, and Jeff is, again, the Hall of Fame. What group was it, by the way? Is it the Pennsylvania Hall of Fame?
Yeah,
When you say Hall
Pennsylvania
of
Hall
Fame,
of Fame.
Pennsylvania
Pennsylvania Hall of Fame?
Karate Hall of
Pennsylvania
Fame.
Karate Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
Pennsylvania Karate Hall of Fame.
Mhm.
Fantastic, man. Good stuff. Good stuff. And, hey, more power to you. Hope you just keep on going, doing what you're doing. Okay, but if anyone's interested in now joining your class because of this interview, how would they go about that?
They could come to the Central Penn Fitness Center and just say they want to take karate, and they'll get you hooked up.
Okay,
But if you want, I also have an exercise class that I taught in karate, but it's karate exercise, and I teach that
okay.
I teach it at the Living Water Community Church. that I'll tell you real quickly about that. Kage is called Kage Do, means the shadow way. It's a karate exercise class. What happened was back in I'll give you some years now. Back in 1977, I started doing an exercise program with music.
Mhm.
And it turned out really well back then, 1977. And I remember 1997, I was looking at TV and I saw a man called Billy Blank, somebody even competed with, matter of fact, called
Oh,
Billy
yeah, I
Blank.
remember him. Yeah.
And he said, "Oh, I got this thing, music, karate to music, Taibo." I said, "Wait a second, I've been doing that since 1977." So that's when I gave it the name Kage-Do, which means the shadow way. It's like you exercise and it'll stick to you like a shadow, and that's how I got called shadow Kage-Do. That's how I called that. And I'm still doing that at Living Water Community Church Tuesdays and Thursdays at 6 o'clock.
Well, once we're done with the celebrating families, I might sign up
All right.
because I still
Glad to
have
see you.
aspirations to be a lethal
I
weapon.
I will sell tickets for that one.
Thank you. And I will set out the arena, believe me, I will.
But see, the whole thing about Kage-Do, you can sit down or you can stand up doing our program because basically it's a karate exercise, moving your arms, just moving limbs and you can have a sit down or stand up. That's what people like about it.
That's
It's a
great.
full body workout. It's
Uh-huh.
I've had many great accomplishments with people who say they had lowered their blood pressure. Some people say they had
Uh-huh.
their diabetes. Some people said that they lost weight and
Uh-huh.
inches. And I heard a lot of people saying about inches. And I tell everybody it's going to cost you money because you're going to have to get a new wardrobe after coming in my class.
That's what happens,
So,
yeah.
but it's right now because the church gives me the space for free. I don't charge any money, but we do have a love art offering for the church, and we
Okay.
do that once a month, and that's all I think. But people ask what's the cost. There is no real cost, but something if you can give anything, we ask that.
That's great stuff.
And
Now, where's that
thanks,
located, your church? You mentioned,
it's right off of Dairy Street. It's 105 Oakley Avenue.
Oakley, yeah.
105 Oakley. Okay, we'll find it. Yeah, good stuff. Well, listen, I appreciate both of you coming on at the last minute here. Thank you, Terry, for setting this up. And again,
Yep.
it's T-Dub Publishing, and
Yes.
I'm a client, and I can attest to how thorough Terry is. Very, very well done. In fact, this is a softback cover. Let me see if you can see this. This is the latest project she did for me. This was the mock-up. That line isn't there, but this is a beautiful cover. Everybody loves this cover, so and that's one of our anthologies. So hey, if you're interested, contact T-Dub Publishing. So listen, thank you all both again for coming on. And for those folks tuned in, this is the Writers Workshop. We do this every Friday night from 7 p.m. to 9 p.m. here on The Voice, 17104 Harrisburg. And we're on Facebook Live and all that good stuff. And if you like the program, we hope that you like it and then share it with all of your contacts. And that's all that's required. Just that you like it and share it, okay? But again, thank you both. Anytime you have a subject you want to talk about, anything, Writers Workshop is open to both of you, Terry and Jeff Washington. Appreciate you both.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, thanks. We'll see you later.
See you. Okay.
Stop gun violence.
So, Brother Chris, if you don't mind, if we can pull up that first video for tonight, I'd appreciate that. All right.
What up, y'all? You know what today is. It has been Mondays with Dallas Poetry Slam. I am Crush, and here is a Crush Quickie. Food on the grill, line dance music, and endless smiles are the mark of any Black holiday celebration in the summertime. The heat can't compete with Kool-Aid smiles. Bless the food and feel the love. But these days, I try to bring some awareness to the party. Most times we're celebrating without even knowing the real reason. Memorial Day is meant to honor those who died while serving in the U.S. military. Never mind what government betrayal of the people they were fighting for, that's a different poem. But the origin of Memorial Day has roots entombed in Civil War. Slaves fighting for their own livelihood after the South conceded from the Union, the war over slavery, and how their closest true freedom laid below dirt, fertilized American soil in hopes of a richer future and left with unmarked graves. But in 1865, some freed slaves and a few missionaries in South Carolina provided proper burials. And on May 1st, a beautiful black harvest of children marched with roses they grew from fertilized palms, singing in union.
Was that the whole piece, Brother Chris?
Sure it was.
Okay, okay. It's nice and short, but I mean, she has a great voice. She has a great imagery also with that piece. Like I said, nice and short, but made the point. Thank you. And you said there's a few other pieces that you'll do tonight that's kind of short. Is that right?
Yes, sir. If you need another one, we're ready for another one, or if you want to wait a few,
Yeah, we can do another one right now. Sure. Let's look at it. So, let's do
All
a
right,
little.
give me 2 secs here.
Yeah, take your time. Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, again, don't forget, folks, we have so many things coming up. June 10th will be celebrated by the Writers Workshop in Life Esteem Ministries. And we will be celebrating at the Ben Franklin School, 1205 North 6th Street in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, from 10 a.m. until 5 p.m. We will have vendors and, entertainment. Also history. We'll talk about, what is Juneteenth? Why is it important? And that kind of thing. We'll have poetry, of course, and food. You got to have food. And so anyhow, we hope that you'll come out. It's a free program to get in. The vendors, of course, they sell their own wares and all that. But the entertainment and everything else is just free. So hopefully you'll come in, and we will have something for everybody, all ages, like we did last year. Young people, they got a chance to color. Adults got a chance to color and play games. It was just a lot of fun. So, there it goes. That's our flyer, official flyer for the Writers Workshop and Life Esteem presents Juneteenth Community Celebration, Saturday, June the 15th, 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Food vendors, you're going to have music, poetry, and also says song and dance, okay? Free to the public, 1205 North 6th Street. 1205, there's Ben Franklin, 1205 North 6th Street, Harrisburg, PA. So, it's right up there from the old part of the Broad Street Market that, got burnt down. It's literally right across the street from there. So, come on out. We'll be in the gymnasium part, and we're going to have a lot of fun, okay? All right. Thank you, brother, for bringing that up. And I love that flyer. So here we go, Memorial Day tribute.
A soldier standing tall, a soldier standing firm, a soldier wearing a title not given but earned. A call was given and an answer a soldier supplied. A soldier went where they were needed. A soldier left behind their life. Families were missed because a soldier had duties to attend. New families were created among the ranks of once strangers, now friends. A love was unleashed, united by the flag, soldiers honored with daily salutes. An unbreakable bond was created, bathed in the colors of red, white, and blue. A soldier, a duty that is never forgotten, a story that should never be untold, a memory that we hold on to for all soldiers, the ones we loved and the ones we may not have known. For their truth is never ending. It goes on well past their final salute. It lives within each soldier after them and is awakened with each sound of ground meeting boots. Every cadence that is called, every forward march that is heard, is all said in unison with all soldiers that once upon a time spoke out those same words. What an honor to have known a soldier. What an honor to have called one friend. What a blessing to know a soldier's heart housed a room for our love to live in. A soldier unites us all, for we are all here because a soldier did their duty. A soldier answered the call. A soldier joined our lives together, and that can never be taken away. All soldiers stood tall. Some soldiers gave their all. And for those fallen soldiers of the United States Army, Air Force, Navy, Marine Corps, and Coast Guard, we will all have the opportunity to honor them today.
That's very good. It's powerful imagery. And at least we forget there are people who have literally put their lives on the line, for the cause of freedom of this in this country. And there was a time when the armed forces were so badly segregated, and black soldiers couldn't mingle with white soldiers and all this kind of stuff. But somehow we overcame that, and then we were able to maintain these shores of ours, these borders, because believe me, there are some forces out there that want to see us go away, and want to get rid of this thing called democracy. As fragile as it is still better than a whole bunch of the other stuff that we see, paraded around the world. So let's not forget the role of the soldier, what the soldier has endured, and many people came back with missing limbs. Someone came back in body bags. Almost all of them came back with a new sense of what it means to be in this country, to be American. To have fought for your country, and then to survive the fight, because that's the other part. A lot of people died; they didn't make it back. But to survive the fight, and then to proclaim freedom, for all, because we had to fight for that here at home as well. But we finally got there to a point. They're trying to roll it back on us, y'all. Let's be honest about it. They're trying their best to roll it back on us. There was a young man, I can't even call his name at this point, young white guy, back when George Floyd was murdered. And there was a lot of unrest, and people were protesting all the things that went on. And I think his name was sort of like a Ratcliffe, something anyhow. My point is this, that he, 16 years old at the time, I believe, got a bunch of guns, and he goes he had to drive a number of miles to get there. But he's going to help police the police. He's walking around here like he's actually has an official position, and ends up being confronted by two persons. Both of them, he was white, both of them happen to be white, and he shoots him dead. And he says he was afraid for his life. Rittenhouse, I think his name is. And just recently, he got off. He didn't have to go to prison or anything, and he definitely should have, in my estimation. But anyhow, he recently was asked to appear in some venue, whatever, and people actually bought tickets to go see this guy and to really kind of lift him up. He got on stand and boo-hooed and all that kind of stuff. But he took lives, had no reason to have a gun. In fact, one officer was telling him right away, put those guns down, go, you're not a part of this and that kind of thing. He didn't. He stayed there, and, till he got himself into some kind of a bind or trouble, and he ended up, killing two men. And now they're selling tickets to see this guy. He was even invited to the White House back in the day when Trump was in presidency. It just makes you wonder, how do we get so upside down in terms of our thinking and viewing of the world? But it is the commentary with what we're dealing with. So anyhow, having said all that, let's remember those people that are real heroes, the true heroes that fought for this country, and was out there in those front lines when most of us were sitting back here comfortable in our homes, watching our TV, eating our dinners, and not even thinking about that war. And here they were over there living in 24/7, just so that we could have freedom, and that certain things wouldn't permeate and continue to grow around the world. Least we forget. So hey, okay, there's Ro. I'm glad to see Ro coming on. Russ Ro Brady. Ro is a outstanding writer, as you know. For those of you who know who Ro Brady is, she's both a poet as well as a novelist, and she's the editor-in-chief of the Black Wall Street magazine. So good to see you, Ro.
Hey.
Hey, thank you for coming on. Yes, look like you're a little busy there. What's been going on?
Oh, I have been like incredibly busy. And your daughter is like a saving grace. She really is. My new book will be released on the 31st, but it was such a struggle. The formatting was crazy.
Okay.
Yeah.
But talking about Terry Martinez, Terry Washington, and she TW Publishing. She was just on, by the way. Her and
Oh,
Jeff
I missed
Washington.
her.
Yes, she did. They just went off. They came on
Oh,
a little bit after 7 and stayed on for the whole time. She's working on Jeff's book, Karate Guy, and that should be coming out, she said, hopefully in August. And then also talked about his other book, and this and that. Then she talked about her company and, mentioned some things that she's working on. And your name came up earlier. In fact, when we started talking about her coming on, the fact that she was working with you and everything. And I said, all right, I think doing some formatting, right?
Yeah, because I use Vellum to format. It does a great job when you're just doing a manuscript that has no like, stanzas. But it, it just threw my stanzas of every poem totally off.
Wow.
Yeah, I had like a poem that had all the stanzas on one page, and then it would have one line on the next page.
Yeah.
I was like, I try to figure it out, and I don't know what I've done without Terry. She's amazing. She went in
All
and
right.
first time she did it, she said, I don't know what's wrong with this. And then whatever she did, it looks great now. So I just, and I told her, I said, she sent me her logo and her website, and I told her I want to add it because I'm doing my newsletter because I skipped May. I was just
Mhm.
incredibly too busy. So the one I put out next is just resources. Like, who did I use as a resource?
Yeah. Yeah. Good
Yeah, so I
stuff.
told her I
Good stuff.
definitely want to have her on my newsletter. I've been working with her and Queenie.
Okay, good. How's Queenie doing? We haven't seen Queenie in a month of Sundays.
Oh, I know. I just got off the phone with her. We were trying to work out my whole book dilemma thing with, I told her, I said, I don't do pre-releases until like everything is up.
Okay.
Yeah, so that, and I told her, well, we still have a week. And she was like, well, we're not doing pre-releases. We're just gonna do, like the cover reveal. So
Mhm. Okay. Okay.
yeah.
So you have and this book of poetry is coming out, right?
It's a book of poetry. It's 2 short stories, and there is a journal that goes with it.
Oh, nice. Very nice.
Yeah.
Okay. Congratulations. And that you hope that will be out in the next couple of weeks then?
Yeah, actually in a week.
In a week, right on. Okay.
Yeah, I
Good,
I
good,
wanted to be done with it. It just it was like I said, it was I don't know. It was
good.
terrorizing.
Uh-huh.
Any way I could say it because I was having so many problems. I even
Uh-huh.
got Theo involved in this one. It was like, and he's my little, I call him my little home geek. He usually can figure out all
Uh-huh.
my computer problems. And he looked at me
All
like,
right.
I don't know. Like, what am I gonna do? You were my last chance. And I'm sitting there
Uh-huh.
going, who can I call that could figure this out? Who? And then I have another girlfriend. That's what she does for a living. She
Okay.
does not, she was a help desk, and now she's like a senior supervisor of a whole bunch of technical stuff. So I
Wow.
called her and I was on the phone with her for like 2 hours, and she
Wow.
was like, I don't know. So then I'm
Mhm.
sitting there going like, who? And I'm like, Terry.
Uh-huh.
So I just
Uh-huh.
have to give her all applause because if it wasn't for her, I would still be sitting there rubbing the side of my head trying to figure out how to get this book published.
If you would do that, you know what I'd be doing, pulling my hair out a little bit that I have left. I mean, it's like, yeah, that stuff is, yeah, if you don't know what you're doing, it will drive you crazy.
Yeah, with
Man.
poetry, it's a whole different animal because of your stanzas,
Uh-huh.
and like when I write a novel, I
Uh-huh.
just put in a page break. Like at the
Okay.
end of every chapter, unless the chapter has, like how you're changing times in your chapter and you're
Uh-huh.
not done with the chapter and you have the 3 asterisks.
Yeah.
Well, Vellum does a super job with
Okay.
that type of formatting, but it does not do anything. And because I'm doing poetry and short story.
Okay. Uh-huh.
So it didn't know like, okay, where are we going here?
Yeah.
And it just had it all, and I could not figure out how to get it. So I know now that I can use Vellum if I am going to just write a regular, uh, like where you have dialogue tags and things like that, but I cannot do it with poetry and short story.
Right on. Right
I
on.
told I told Terry, I said, you have a new client now. Whenever I want to put out a new poetry book, I will just simply hand it over to you and say, let me know what I owe you at the end because
So,
it became less frustrating. And that's what Theo told me. He said, don't you have people for this?
uh-huh.
Yeah.
But it's interesting. Terry, like I said, was on along with Jeff Washington, and Jeff has at least one book out already about Coach Cam. He was a big time coach up at the Camp Curtin YMCA,
I
and
remember.
yeah, he was really he had that rough voice and everything, but he also battled for years disease, and the family succumbed to it. But he was a legend. And the one thing I appreciated about him, he had this huge basketball camp, and when I started off as a like a poet in residence, kind of thing. and I was trying to work with the young kids. And so what he did was made the teams that were not playing, they had to come and sit with me and do poetry or read or whatever. And they couldn't act up. If they did, they wouldn't play. And if they didn't go through what my portion was, they wouldn't play. And so one of the last things I did was had two people visit with them. One was Jonathan Queen, who's an outstanding writer and minister now down in, he's in Maryland. And then I had also, oh my goodness, can't call her name, but anyhow, I'm looking right at her. But she was dealing with, you know, disease, HIV. And so she asked the kids, you know, she said, how many of you have ever seen anybody with HIV or AIDS, you know? And the kids would kind of look at each other. One maybe two raised their hand. And then she said, well, you have now, you know. And they were like, what do you mean? She said, well, you've seen the person now. They said, well, who? And they still didn't get it. And then she said, well, me, you know. And they were like, what? And one boy out of nowhere just got up and came over and just hugged her. And then all the kids got up in line and very mannerly and very orderly, just went up and just hugged her one at a time. And all the parents were over there on the sideline. And it was just quite a moving thing. It was just unbelievable, you know. But I always appreciated Cam for that. He, you know, he passed away. They did a big memorial up there and all that stuff. So Jeff talked about that. Jeff was inducted into the Martial Arts Hall of Fame, by the way, and Pennsylvania Martial Arts Hall of Fame, along with Fred Waters and a few other people from around this area. So it was really a pleasure having him on to talk about his books and everything. So anyhow, yep. And Terry was the one, I was actually talking to Terry, and she's the one that kind of made that happen, you know, so I appreciate her. What's been going on in your world? I know you've been busy. I know you got 1,001 projects going on. Are you still subbing and all that good stuff, or is...
Oh, I was exhausted when I came home. I now that they're down to, most schools have like 6 more days. I usually don't do elementary until this time of year, because
Okay.
if you do it in the winter, you get sick because they're just like a petri full of germs. I love kindergartners. They're so sweet. They're untainted by the world. And today
Yeah.
I was outside for recess for most of the day with first graders. But I love kindergarten and first graders. They are just so like I said, untainted. So this one little boy comes over, takes me by the hand. He says, Ms. B, there's a meteorite over the fence. I'm like, what? So he's pulling me all the way across the playground to the other side. He says, look. So I look down and there's this little rock, and it looks like, I don't know, like it was covered with cement. Like somebody was working there and this little rock like chipped off with cement. So I said to him, it was like a great opportunity to get little kids to use their imagination. And I said, oh. And he was like, what? I mean, his eyes got big as saucers. And I said, it is a meteorite. So then another little girl comes over and I said to her, the Uranians have come. The Uranians have come. And he says, what are the Uranians? I said, look up. Don't you see them? He was like, I don't see anything but clouds. And I said, they look like clouds, but they're Uranians. So they all disperse going away. Like, look at the Uranians. I said, go and chase the Uranians, go. So they're all out in the playground going like, uranium, uranium. I see uranium. It was great. It was like,
Wow.
that's like, you know, like this genuine source of imagination. It was so much fun, but I'm exhausted.
I can only imagine. Better you than me. My goodness. One thing I loved was a piece they had on the news about a class that took a trip. And I'm like, okay, and it was an elementary kids. And so the teacher said she would have loved to take them on a trip to, oh, where was it? It may have been Africa or something like that. But anyhow, they're supposed to go long distance on this trip. And so it was Hawaii. That's what it was. I think it was Hawaii. And so anyhow, she set the whole classroom up as if they were going to be in an airplane. After they get off the airplane, then they're going to, you know, I mean, these kids embrace this thing and start using their imagination. So when the reporters came and started asking them questions, they talked like they had really been to Hawaii, you know. I mean, they were like zoomed in on it, and the plane hit some turbulence. They talked about the turbulence and all that. I'm like, what
I
kind
did that with my high school students. My classroom was almost an efficiency apartment. And this was when I was teaching consumer math. My kids had to become roommates, and they had to balance their, you know, finances. You know, they had to pay rent, they had to buy things for their apartment. So they'd come in the morning and they would pretend my classroom was an apartment. And, you know, like that was back when people were writing out checks, you know, they had to sit down and make out grocery lists. And then I had these little cards that periodically I'd give them one and I said, oh, there's been an incident, like a flat tire. You have to figure out how to get a new tire. You decide that you want to go make a special dinner, and instead of spending your normal amount on groceries, you overspend a little on groceries, and now you have to revamp your budget so you make sure you pay all your bills, you know. And they really, really embraced it. And these were high school kids. They would come in my room and like, okay, we should move, like I mean, I had a little sofa in my room. They were like, we should move the sofa over there. I'm like, no, we ain't moving the sofa. But it was just the fact that they were so into, and it was all a math unit. You know, we did it for, you know, like a whole semester. Yeah. I mean, you can get kids to really, even older kids to really embrace something that they really enjoy. To me, that's real learning.
That's real learning. Well, you know, they have a thing, and I mentioned this before, called the poverty simulation. And so they set up Camp Curtin's gym. And I was working, I think, at the time with United Way, but anyhow, we went over as a staff and we had to go through this simulation. And what happened is I was at 35, I think I was a 35-year-old white female with, I think I had 3 kids. And so I had to pretend to be a 35-year-old white female with 3 kids. And each one of these kids has something very unique about them. The one boy got kicked out of school, and you know, she didn't want to leave him home because she knew the kind of, you know, nonsense he'd get involved in. Another kid had to go, the parent had to go to school with this kid because of some deficiency or something was going on. And that was a big meeting, and you know, it was going to be determined whether or not the kids were going to stay in that school or they would have to recommend him for something else. The other one was a kid who, I think he had stolen something, whatever, gotten in trouble, and was taking this pattern after his father, who was an alcoholic and always got in a lot of trouble. So anyhow, that she had to make this work, and she had to get all 3 people to their destinations. She had to show up for each one of them, and she had a job working at McDonald's. She didn't have a big time job, and the guys were, you know, sort of like embarrassed on one hand, but then on the other hand, you know, she said, hey, we survived. This is what we do. And the one kid was really bright. He was on his way off to college. The other 2 kids were not so sure they're going to try college. And so they asked him about, you know, what drives you? Why did you have such good grades? And why did you do so well in sports? And he said, my mom. He said, watching her walk 15 miles one way just to go work at McDonald's. And that's what she did every day. She walked 15 miles one way, 30 miles total. And she worked at McDonald's. And so, you know, a lot of times they would give them food that was left over or something like that, but not all the time. And she was the only source of income. And she refused to let her kids drop out of school so they could work and help her out. No, that's what she said, no, that's not what you're going to do. Fascinating story, you know, just fascinating. And then you look at these kids and you say, well, you know, can they learn? Of course they can, you know, but you have to tap into what they're all about. Yeah. So anyhow, that's just, when you made those comments, it sparked that on me. And that's down in New York, I believe. Also, they have a group that does it on a more regular basis, the poverty simulation, you know. So I think you can easily sign up for it. You know, yeah, so anyhow, I'm excited about your book coming out. Now, is Queenie still doing her, what do you call it? The author showcases?
I think so. I'm not sure what her schedule is for that. Yeah, but she's gonna do a virtual book release for me.
Well, she, you know, she, you know, was real consistent with us, that kind of thing. And then she stepped down unless she's doing the thing. But yeah, if she ever has time to come on one Friday night, I know this is a
Oh,
busy
you
time for
know
everyone.
what you and I have to finish.
Oh, yes, indeed. Oh, my goodness, yeah.
I'm waiting for you.
I know you are. Listen, you asked me about these questions, and I'm like, And so anyhow, I have to do them, and I keep saying I'm doing, but this is my weekend. I'm definitely going to do those questions.
Yeah,
And
because
I read the book.
tailor them towards, you know, your family ministry.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking of. you know, and also, yeah, yeah. I love the story though. I love what you did with that, the back
Oh,
and forth.
good.
Yeah, very well
Did you
done.
like the plot twist at the end?
I did. I like everything about it. Everything about the,
I
you
kept
know, and I
thinking
was
like,
like,
okay, we need to make this, you know, one of
yeah,
those ones where people go like, oh, wow, really?
yeah, yes, yes, absolutely. And I don't want to give it away at all, but yeah,
No,
that's,
we can't do
yeah,
that. I know.
yeah. But I will put
Since I
questions.
but since I
Mhm,
finished that, I've had a flurry. I think that's why I don't sleep well at night. I've had a
mhm.
flurry of short stories. Like I've been carrying my little notebook. In
Okay.
my little notebook, I'm working on the third short story. Now, I
Mhm.
also finished another poetry book beyond the one I'm just releasing.
Mm,
So
okay.
I've got like another one, but I kept thinking
Fantastic.
I could add to that one. I
Mhm,
did this short story yesterday. I'm almost finished with it, the plot and everything, because you know, my first love had always been the short story.
mhm.
I started writing short stories before I started writing anything. And they
Wow.
just come to me. And it was funny because Theo and I are on a lemon ginger snap phase. Like
Wow.
I've been buying ginger lemon snaps.
Mm,
And I came home today and I said, are you hungry? He said, no, I ate pizza. But he said, go in the kitchen and bring me 3 ginger snaps. And all of a sudden I kept thinking like, oh my gosh, it's a storyline, ginger snaps. So this whole
yeah.
storyline is floating through my
Mm,
head. And it's the third story.
okay. Okay. That's
But it's
beautiful though.
weird.
That's what.
Sometimes where stuff
Mhm,
just like it bombards me because I
mhm.
just finished this one. Um, it's called Fancy Girls, and it actually takes place in the antebellum South.
Okay.
And it's a short story. And I'm thinking, like, usually something taking place in antebellum time, it's hard to write it as a short story because there's history
Yeah.
so thick. But
Yes.
all of a sudden, this just came to me, and it's like, it's a short story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's about these two mulatto girls that are in a cabin with a guy who he's a slave owner, but he's using them as his fancy girls. And this whole story about like the lesser of two evils,
Yeah.
because he ends up getting his foot caught in a bear trap and now he's injured.
Mm-hmm.
And the two girls are now like, you know, we could leave, we could run away now. The one sister is like, we could run away now. And the other sister is like, but this is the best life that we could possibly have, even though we're still really slaves. So it's the premise of, and it still takes me back to the social justice issue of
Mm-hmm.
how there are some women who truly believe that they can't live without a man. And that tying this, and I was like, oh wow, I could this, even though it's written in the antebellum period of time, I'm
Mm-hmm.
going to relate it back to today's, you know, vernacular of that belief.
That's good stuff.
So
I like
I'm
that you always plot things out and you're always kind of thinking about how you're gonna make this thing work or what you're gonna do. That's good stuff, you
well,
know.
you know why?
Mhm.
Um, you know Julia Mallory, don't you?
Absolutely, yeah. Just talk to
Well,
me today. Mhm.
I'm interviewing her for the Black Wall Street. And
Okay.
when she first started 1006,
Mm-hmm.
she had some type of, and I don't even remember how I just made a comment and I
Mm-hmm.
ended up winning this book, uh Apocalypse Steel.
Okay.
Um, it's a series of short stories. I'm only on the third one. It's by Leah Nicole Whitcomb.
Okay.
And I don't know if she she's not a local author. I don't know if she's here in Harrisburg or she's someone that Julia contacted, but the stories are really, really good. And she reminds me a lot of Octavia Butler.
Mhm.
Remember Kindred? Have you
Yeah.
ever read
Yeah.
Kindred? Well,
Mm-hmm.
the first story is a takeoff of COVID.
Okay.
She writes about, it's almost like a zombie apocalypse
Mm-hmm.
where really it made me think of, you know, like when everybody was wearing a mask. Well, in this story, everybody's wearing a turtleneck sweater. And
Okay.
if you take your turtleneck sweater off, you might get bit by the zombie,
Wow.
which is COVID. I love books that are written in like, that type of parody. And this
Yeah,
one's
yeah,
really good. Yeah, so that's
fantastic. And what's the title again?
Apocalypse Steel.
The Populous Field. Okay. Yeah, when you hold it up, it's blurred. For some reason, it's blurred.
Oh,
And
well, that's because I had my background, I think, is blurry.
yeah, it just kind of blurs up.
Yeah,
But it's all good. It's all good.
there. It's called
There you go.
Apocalypse Steel.
Populous Steel. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, I've been reading this one, and it's just spurred me on back to my love of the short story again, because it's a
Mhm.
series of short stories. And I
That's
thought,
great.
So I'm working on a third one now. So
Mhm.
eventually, I think that's gonna be my new thing. I was
Okay.
supposed to go for the fourth year in a row to a romance conference for romance writers.
Yeah.
The chairperson has been calling me, asking me if I'm gonna come. And I don't know. I've kind of taken a pause with historical romance right now.
Did you say the president of the institution called you?
I said the president of the conference, she does the conference every year.
Okay.
And we've been playing telephone tag, but the
Mhm.
last time she called me, she says, "Are you coming?" And I thought, like, I don't think I'm going this year because I need to broaden my horizons and find some other conferences for what I'm doing now, like this
Right.
short
Yeah.
story or poetry.
hmm
And I think sometimes writing is like that. It's like you can do something for some while, but
hmm
then you realize there's so many other genres that float around your head
That's
that,
right. Mhm.
why, what do you call it? Pigeonhole yourself,
Yeah.
and I thought, I don't think I'm going this year. I don't, I mean, I
Mhm.
didn't get it under the early bird special, and now the early bird special is over. And then I'm going to be doing theater camp. So I thought,
Yeah.
no, I'm going to miss most of it during the day. But I feel like I've moved on from historical romance for a while,
Mhm.
at least.
Mhm.
You
But
ever feel
it's
that way?
interesting. Say it again.
I said, have you ever feel that way? Like you've been writing something or doing something and you realize that for some reason you've just suddenly taken a shift to a change or gone back
Oh
where
yeah,
you started at.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
In fact, I remember, I won't say his name, but he looked at me one day and said, "Seems like all my writings are kind of the same, aren't they?" And I said, "Well, yeah, but and he never, as far as I know, he hasn't written anything since. He was just kind of feeling like he was, I've already said this before, I don't know what else to say, but he's said maybe the same thing, but in such a different way that to me it's not a distraction and it's powerful. Right? Everything he writes
Mm-hmm.
about, I think it has utility. So my job has been to try to get him to come back. And I wish I hadn't said what I said, like, I was almost agreeing with him that his writings were, it's kind of all the same, but they're not all the same, not at all. And I've been reading a lot of his works lately, well, a few pieces, and he's really onto something big. He served as
Mm-hmm.
the poet laureate, for 1 year, for 2 years. But anyhow, yeah, we'll see. We will see. So I'm gonna ask Brother Chris to bring up the last video, at least one more video for the night. I think this will be the last, if I'm
I missed all
correct.
the
And forgive the
videos and
voice.
everything.
You missed, yeah. You missed some of the videos, and we didn't show any videos until like a little bit before 8. You know, so yeah, and the interview, like I said, went over very well. Brother Chris, are you able to pull anything up for us?
Yes, sir, I am. Good evening,
Wonderful,
Miss
thank
Rowe.
you.
How are you?
Well, how are you?
I'm doing well, ma'am. Actually, I hear from your guest as well. Not sure if Miss Rose saw
Oh, there
that.
you go. Yeah, Coach Camp.
Oh,
Thank you
yeah.
so much. Mhm. Yeah, he was up at Camp Curtin Y, and he just did a phenomenal job. And they literally did a major tribute to him in Florida. This is our next venture, by the way. We're going to be celebrating Juneteenth on Saturday, the 15th of June. It'll be at the Camp Curtin School, 1205 North 6th Street. As you can see, we're having vendors and, poets and song and dance, food. Gotta have food, so it's gonna be a nice time. Hopefully, Rod, that you can come out and join us as well.
Yeah, I might actually have copies of the new book by then. I don't know.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm praying. I really was trying to get this book out I'm doing so much with Juneteenth. So I'm
Yeah,
hoping I definitely will come.
fantastic. I hope so. And this
Hmm.
gentleman, yeah, I know that picture. I don't know why. Is this the poet, Brother Chris?
Yes, sir. Are you ready
Okay,
for it?
he's the poet. Okay. All right, we're ready. Yeah, so
Okay.
yep.
Happening. This is Pitodi coming to you live from the throne again. This piece here is to commemorate Memorial's Day. I would say Happy Memorial's Day, but what's happy about dying soldiers? But what I will say, and with pride I can say thank you. You are appreciated to all the soldiers, past, present, and future, those who will be brave. Gravity has to be mad at me because the weight of the world is heavier these days, but I still promenade with my head raised, and my knees only buckle when I fast and pray for the shell-shocked soldiers who've been casted away, no longer able to cope with the masquerade of being okay after eyewitnessing dying in gory ways. The nightmares of massacres are nicknamed glory days. Well, he's a patriotic hero. He doesn't feel like a hero, but they glorify him. And he thought of running away, but a mine ate his limbs. Well, he really should be proud, because he took 5 of them. But what's lost in the body count is friendly fire. Corporal Tillman. So beneath that shroud of pride, he just wants his legs back and the nightmares to stop and his sanity to be intact. And Iraq should be called limbo for all the limbs that have been blown off. God bless the dead soldiers, but what of the ones who can't walk? What about the right hand that turned to southpaw because of an IED in Baghdad? He can't play catch with his sons and his sad dad. He's depressed because he thinks he's a bad dad. His world was toppled by insurgents on the quest to get virgins and a better life in the afterlife if they find infidels and purge them. Suicidal bombers or martyrs. It depends on what side of the boom you're on. The Holy Bible or Quran. Different perspectives make them assume we're wrong, but who's to say who can pray in a particular way on a particular day to a particular God who's not so particular, but what is so ridiculous is that it's so testicular. In other words, who's got the biggest balls? I mean, bombs. Was it George W. or Saddam? Or was it the kid with the killer vendetta because collateral damage murdered his mom? Hate is contagious, and rage is a symptom. If the system is corrupt, then what will erupt are more victims, looking to get those who put them in the predicament they're in. Even a coward resorts to sin to taste the sweetness of revenge, but where does it end? In a world full of blind folks, when eye for an eye leaves us savagely plucking out eyes because we've been poked, but those who didn't provoke are the ones who feel the wrath. They're drowning in tears and bloodbaths that were drawn by warlords and psychopaths. Psycho son and psycho dad versus terrorists and sick dictators. I'm a slick-ish hater, but they played the mind games to perfection, because they had us fighting wars over weapons of mass deception. We were killing and dying by the masses in clashes with everybody but the bastards who crashed into our monuments. Death is being issued like condiments in drive-through windows. Welcome to Armageddon, may I take your order? And it takes a lie to cover a lie, so the sin grows and grows as the tears flow and flow as the rate of suicide soar. Some soldiers can't take another tour in this debacle of a war. They'd rather die than be killed by a bomb in the road, or a mom strapped with the booby trap to make a baby explode. Maybe I'm old-fashioned, but these bastards ain't fighting fair. The Geneva Convention didn't mention my brother in the trenches protecting folks who don't want us there. And the word warfare in itself is an oxymoron, cause we morons just think of more ways to kill with more bombs. And the devil's having a field day while God's creation is running amok. We wrestle not with flesh and blood, we're living the prophecies. Folk, wake up!
That brother was rolling. Good gracious. Hey, this Lazille. How you doing, Lazille?
Hi.
All right. You made it
Hi,
on.
good
Appreciate
night,
that. Yeah.
Hey,
Yeah, that brother.
Hi.
uh That brother was rolling. I thought it was gonna be one of those kind of, hit sweet short bumps and sheesh. But Brother Chris, what he did tonight was set up he showed 4 basically Memorial Day poems and about people serving and all that good stuff. Yeah. So well, welcome, Giselle. Glad that you're on. What did you think of that piece, Adderall?
I don't know. Took me back to my neighborhood where we had there were 2 brothers that lived on our block, and they had both come back from Vietnam.
Mhm.
And the one would have, back then we didn't really think about what is it, PST?
PTSD.
PTSD. We didn't really think about that's what it is. We didn't really have a name for it. But periodically he would stand in the middle of the street and pretend he had a gun and just like, you know, like make this sound.
Yeah.
And I mean, it would just like all the kids would run and they would all tell me to go get my dad. And my dad was the only one who ever could calm him down. He would take him in the backyard, sit on the porch. My mother would give him a piece of cake, and my father would sit there with him in a cup of coffee and just kind of bring him back to reality. But that's what it made me think of at that particular time in my childhood.
That's powerful. Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. Did you hear that piece, Dazil, when you came in?
Just the ending up of it. Yeah.
Yeah, just caught the last part of it. Okay, real good then. Yeah. So what's going on up in New York with Dazil Power?
I'm still waiting to hear what is going on with any events regarding the Hempstead Fair. I'm still waiting to see. I'm not sure because it's still trying to finalize details, so I'm waiting to see.
Okay. Well, we got you in prayer, thinking of you and everything, and we want that to work out for you, no question about it. For those persons that don't know, Dazil is an artist. You can see a piece of her artwork right behind her head there. And then also she's a great poet. Yeah. That's a great piece. I like that. It really shows the tree and the branches. And it has like a woman's form in it too.
Yes.
Yeah, good stuff. Okay. I hope you have something to read tonight or something to share.
Yeah.
Hey, none of that. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I've been rushing, trying to get home.
All right.
Good night.
I'm glad you made it. You see the Zill's on. Ro is also on. Ro just stepped out way for a minute. But Ro's also on. And
Okay.
but Zill, take it away.
All right. Well, this week was graduation at the school. So I wrote this poem, I think it was yesterday. I did write one today too, so.
All right.
So this one is called He Graduated with the Turban Hat. There he is, walking like nobody's business. His black cape open like the magic carpet in Aladdin. He was walking on air. I saw his turban. It moved like the floating lanterns of Asia, or sail like the riverboats on the Ganges River. Maybe he came from under the rubbles of war zones and torn places of despair. Maybe he saw the troubled waters and swam to safety. His safety of hiding from the bombs, from the killers, murderers, and kidnappers, missiles that waved at him as it passed by. He must have ran, didn't know where his family was. He must have remembered. His tears will never be enough to water the troubled land. He never drowned in his nightmares. I saw his cape spread as if to cover little boys and girls, protecting them from the lie of running all their lives and not winning. But he ran over jagged stones that cut his feet till the blood marked the pattern of determination. He ran for his life till he ran on the stage. He graduated on a rowboat. Maybe he's from India.
Okay, so that was a graduation you went to today?
Yeah, and this guy had on a turban, and it's just the way how he just kept walking straight. I nearly go to run up to him and say, congratulations, you made it.
You didn't even know him.
I don't know him. And the cape, the gown was just fluffing, and all you seen is just turban hat, black, just going, and I say, wow, look how he made it. So I said, you know what? And then the words started to flow, and I said, yeah, that's a poem, right?
That's something. That's nice.
That is nice, yeah. Using that prompt to turban. in the imagination. That's good stuff.
I know his family was probably proud.
Of course.
Mm-hmm.
Of course.
Well,
Yeah.
what's going on
Hey,
with you,
Nat.
Nanette? Hey, there you go. Huh?
Well, we went to the Savvy Seniors. We went to the Green Dragon today.
And what is that?
Oh, the flea market, the big flea market in Ephrata.
Oh, okay.
Huge.
Green
Yeah.
Dragon. Okay.
Yeah, Green Dragon. You never been there?
No.
Okay. It's bigger than the one that used to be down there at Middletown.
Okay.
It's
Huh.
like 3 times that size or maybe 4 times. Yeah.
I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, and it was a nice day for it, but a little hot.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
Nat,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
have to
Definitely got.
thank you because I met with your friend Sylvia and
You
Brenda.
told me.
Yeah, and they're gonna do something with my books on the 29th of August.
Yeah, she gave
Thank you.
us, she
Thank
said
you.
the date. Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
we
thank you
need to
so much.
use our people in Harrisburg, our local people. Because
Yeah.
I got a new book, The Keeper of the Happy Ending by Barbara Davis. Have you heard of her?
No.
You
Let me
showed me
see.
that one yesterday.
Oh, this is the next one we're reading.
And she's from Harrisburg?
No, I don't know where Barbara is from.
Oh, okay. I thought you, yeah, okay.
No, I'm talking about Roe. We need to use our people here.
Oh, no, absolutely. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, she's going to be presenting at the Salvation Army for our book club, some of her
Good.
books.
Good.
So maybe we can get the other ones in there eventually too, like
Mhm.
James and Wendy and everybody. You?
Yeah. Yeah. I spoke to Wendy. She's actually at a church conference. She said she'll be back hopefully by Tuesday. That we get a chance to talk to her and everything, and she's doing fine. She hasn't been on for a while. And you know, but she's writing, and that's a good thing. And who else? Oh, I talked to Juliet Mallory today too. She
Oh.
opened up her new spot called 1006.
Yes, I
Yeah.
gotta get down there.
Yeah, absolutely. She really fixed it up nice. I've driven past it, and I went
Yeah.
down to see her, but she was out. I think she had a birthday and everything. So
Mhm.
recently, and she
We've
just
been
did a ribbon.
texting back and forth.
Yeah, she
It's
did
on
the
3rd
ribbon cutting
Street?
and everything. Yeah, it's on
Uh-huh.
3rd Street, right between her and Bose, on 3rd
3rd and
Street. Yep.
Post.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. Yeah. And again, you know, we're having the big event next on the 15th of June, and it's the celebration of Juneteenth over at the Camp Curtin. I'm sorry, Camp Curtin. I was going to say that Ben Franklin School at 1205 North 6th Street, and it's
Oh,
from
Ben
10 to
Franklin.
5. Brother Chris had put up a flyer for us. I don't know if you saw the flyer. Maybe you can put it up again for us. But it's going to be a nice event. It's always free and open. There you go. It's always free and open. And there's the flyer right there. Yeah.
Oh, okay. I didn't have that in my book.
Okay. Yeah.
10 to 5.
10 to 5. Yeah. Ben Franklin School.
Ben Franklin. We hadn't been there in a while since my grandkids were in
Yeah.
school.
I was when Ben Franklin opened, I was the second student in the building.
Really?
Yep, I was in line early, and we lived on Raleigh Street at the time, and we got down there early, and I remember the doors open and walked in, and Mr. What was that guy's name? My teacher, I forget his name. He was the first male teacher I ever had in my life was on that day. Mr. Rogers, yeah, Mr. Rogers, and he
Okay.
great teacher. Yeah, we had a good time. But yeah, that's going to take place, and you know, if you want to know more, you know, contact you know, Nicole Wilkerson and myself, and we'll talk to you about it. Yeah, it's going to be nice. Dazelle, you still doing the powder room? So that's on tomorrow at 11:30.
Yes.
Okay, right here on the Voice 17104 Harrisburg, right? Okay, good. Mhm.
Tomorrow, a friend of mine invite me to I invite her to come on the show, but she is busy doing poetry in the city. So she having a book signing tomorrow in
Oh, okay.
Manhattan, I believe. So I'm heading there
Good
to
job.
talk with her.
Yeah. Where's she having it? Is there a particular place?
Yeah, it's let me see if I could find just now. It's in Amsterdam, just now. Some street called Amsterdam, I think.
Oh, Amsterdam. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's Three Sisters Book Club. It's like a boutique or something where they normally have their poetry and book signing and stuff there.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So
Do me a favor, if you ever get a chance to, can you look up the African Poetry Theater? See if that's still going strong. It's in New York. It's called the African Poetry Theater. In
oh,
fact, I could look it up too. But we read it before. It was, and the owner has died since, but I understand it's still going strong. At least it was. But John Watusi Branch was the owner, and he had a wonderful setup, and I got a chance to read there a few times, along with some members of the workshop. So,
oh. What
yeah,
it's called?
poetry theater.
African Poetry Theater. I'll look it up. Maybe
Good,
I'll
thank you.
may pay a visit too. Oh, the name tomorrow is 1942 Amsterdam Avenue, New York. So I have to. That's where I'll be going to at 5 p.m.
Yeah, it says here, well, I guess this is, yeah, they just moved to a new location. It says, that's 176-03. Let me see. The whole thing didn't come up. Here it goes. Jamaica, Queens, New York City.
Oh, I hope it's right by the rail. So
Uh,
like by the rail station. So as you
oh,
come
okay.
in Jamaica, Queens, once you come down the train, the stairs to the Queens.
Mhm.
Not far, Jamaica, Queens. Okay.
Yeah, but anyhow, that's a landmark that we just enjoyed ourselves. I haven't read there. A number of us went up one night and read poetry, and then I was featured there with one of the great jazz musicians. I had no idea he had a problem with drugs, and he came back and he was famous for the yodeling that he did. But he packed that place out. It was a great night, and it was four of us that went up and stayed overnight and everything and had a good time. But anyhow, that's the kind of thing I hope that we can get back into. Maybe sponsor a bus trip to someplace.
Yeah.
How many of you? I don't think any of us on here. Maybe you have, Dazelle, been to the New Eurekan Poetry Theater. It's called the New Eurekan.
Called the
I
what?
understand it's New Eurekan, like Puerto Rican, but they call
Oh,
it New Eurekan. Yeah, and
New
I know
New
Jason
York.
Moffat's been there before. I understand it's not a big place, but very popular for poets, and so we'll check that out. And locally, I was looking at something that Maria Child did, and there's a poetry venue. Oh wow, I forget the name of it now. I had it earlier, but anyhow, it was beautiful. Had a person on the stage painting, and then had a big picture of her in the background, and then had music as she was doing the poetry. And my brother had gone along with some other people, and he said it was really off the chart, and that's locally. So, we'll find out where that is and maybe patronize that too. You know, unless have you been to the road? You know what I'm speaking of?
I know what you're talking about, but I've never been there.
Okay, yeah, me either. So we'll figure it out. Yeah. Nanette, did you have anything you wanted to share tonight, poetry wise, or
Well,
that?
I wrote this little thing. Listen at me, little thing. Anyway, I wrote this the other day. Something just popped in my mind.
Good.
And it was about, the name of it is Education is the Key.
All right.
Education is the key. So educate yourself. Educate yourself about all that you do. Educate yourself when you wake up in the morning. Educate yourself about the air that you breathe. Educate yourself about the food that you eat. Educate yourself when you go to work. Educate yourself when you drive your car. Educate yourself about the clothes that you wear. Educate yourself about the way you walk. Educate yourself about the family you have. Educate yourself about who you worship. Educate yourself about the way you worship. Educate yourself, and above all, get an understanding. Ask for wisdom, which only comes from God. He said, ask and he will give it to you. You can be intelligent, but have no wisdom, because wisdom comes from God. Educate, educate, educate yourself. Education is the key. That's it.
Good.
I like that.
Yeah, I do too.
Nice.
Mhm.
Thank you. Yes,
Yeah,
every now
that's
and then something to come to me.
right. Mhm. Just got to pay attention to it, write it down.
Yeah.
That's a good piece, though. Thank you. Thanks for sharing that. Ro, did you have anything else you want to read tonight?
I haven't read anything.
Well,
Oh, okay.
now's the time.
All right.
I read your mind. That's why I said that.
Okay. I'm gonna do something different. Remember, I told you I've been writing these short stories. I'll read you a little bit of that one.
Okay, good. Mhm.
Oh no, wait a minute. I've got a better idea.
Okay,
I wrote a new poem for for Juneteenth.
okay.
It's called Jubilee Day Done Come.
Mm.
My folks come from places where fried chicken was served in greasy shoeboxes that used to hold spit shine floor shimes, secondhand owned by men who wore their Sunday best on Mondays and took off their hats when a woman entered the room. My folks got on trains where colored men wore blue railroad coats, and all the white folks called them George. They could all close their eyes and see the clothes hanging on the line and men swinging from the trees. Yes'm was the words we all spoke to the mistress of the house because we all wanted to live to see another day. We remember the stories from the past. These were the folks that came before us. This is what they called their freedom year, the year of Jubilee, 1865. We're all calling out your names, thanking you for the freedom we done got, thanking you for the movement. Y'all got on the freedom train, your voices echoing, we free now, we free. Don't nobody own us no more. Picture it now. My people are sitting on the sidewalk watching the parades go by, singing, dancing, and calling it a high day. A high day to be free, a high day to call out from that pit deep inside the place where bondage sits and rots in the hearts of people who don't see us. See us now. See us free because Jubilee Day done come.
Mute myself there. That was good.
Okay, that was good. That was
Beautiful.
excellent. Yeah, I like the way you use your voice with that one too. That's good. You know, yeah, dialect it makes it even better.
I
Yeah.
wanted to ask you, Nate, about this Beyond the Surface thing, the book that came. Did this just come out?
No, actually, this is this was our first anthology that we ever did, and it was really really well done. I got to say so myself, and some really great people contribute to this. But we weren't as sophisticated, and we didn't have the real publishing, so it was really limited. We didn't do much with it, and I looked at it one day. I said, "Why?" And so talked to Terry, Washington, and she helped to put it together for us. She repackaged it, typed it over, and it has such people in here as, and I want to get to Betty Curtis because she just moved, but Bonnie Green is in here, excellent writer. We haven't heard from her in years. Lynn Blackston, Deborah Shaw, Kevin Toby Clark, Chris Morton, Claude Lewis, Chris Fagley, who was literally the first person to ever come to the Writers Workshop. He was a student at Michigan David and went on to graduate and everything. But Chris Fagley, also Janice Long, who was one of the people that really worked on this. We had a little committee and they put it together. Miriam Kessler, Deborah Shaw, William Miller, Dr. Dorothy King, let me see here, Robert Bruce Wolfe, Christine D. Johnson, Karen Wykoski, Sherry Neil Singh, I'm trying to think of all the names I didn't mention here. Diane Pettis, Esther Edwards, Miss Edwards just passed. Let me see, Johnny C. Johnson Jr. And I mentioned Betty Curtis, and I think I said Claude Lewis. Cheryl
Yeah, you
Harmon.
did. Were
Also
you
has
talking about doing another one?
Yes,
Okay.
oh yeah, absolutely. And we also did this one here. We had 3 anthologies. This one was put together by Carla Christopher and what's the other sister's name? I forget, but this is the one called The Spirit Speaks. Okay, it's small but powerful. It's great stuff in here. And then this is the other one,
I think I have
Beyond
that book.
Service. And all these are on Amazon, you know. And then we have
Okay.
another one too.
So
But
let me
it's
know
there.
when you're gonna do the next time and help me prepare to put something in it.
Please do,
If you
yes.
help
In
me.
fact, what we'll do, I'll talk to Terry, I just talked to Terry, and you know, she's been swamped with a lot of people, and I don't want to use someone else, I'd like to use her, but yeah, I want people to, you know, send stuff to her and we'll start collecting it and putting it together. And Ro has a company, maybe we can work with Ro to get some of the stuff done, and then the other part could go to Terry, like the editing or the, now what do you call it, the formatting, I guess. That Road does editing, so we do formatting, but yeah, we're gonna use the people that are right within our midst, you know? Yes,
Okay.
indeed, we'll do that. Yeah. So that's my dream and my goal for this year. We let 2024 go, 23 go past, but we won't let 24 go past. You know, we'll get it done.
Well, maybe you can make it when Road presents over in August. You can make it to Salvation Army.
Oh, that'd be great. Yes, you're presenting in August, okay? Yeah, that's fine. And what's the date on that? Is there a particular day of the week?
We're gonna do it August the 29th.
The 29th.
Uh-huh.
Okay,
That's a
good, good, good.
Thursday.
Yep, it's a
It's a Thursday
Thursday.
night, okay. That's good, okay.
It'll probably be during the day because that's when we do our book stuff.
Oh, good, okay, okay. And then we gotta get Dazille down here, maybe let her be a feature down there.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, yes, indeed. We'll figure that out. Yeah, we will figure that out. Trying to think of
I
some
want
new
to do
frontiers.
something with the bookstore over there in Lingelstown and Elementary Coffee also.
Okay,
And possibly the coffee shop over there on also on Lingelstown.
Yeah,
mhm,
we're supposed to visit that, the Savvy Seniors. I'm not sure of the date though, if it's been set up, but we're supposed to visit over there.
okay, fantastic.
Yeah, and then I was over at the Midtown Scholar the other day, and they're still taking book signings for local authors. So
Yeah, I
only
just
thing is
saw, I
they
was over
take
there
so
too
much
myself.
of, yeah, the only thing is they take so much of your,
Yeah, they do, take way too much, yeah.
yeah, so I don't like, you might get a good crowd, especially if you do a poetry reading, but you really got to sell real hard to actually make it worth your while.
And you really do, yeah. And I'm not willing to do that in terms of how much they take. I mean, you can set up your own book signing and get a crowd, you know. I know that some people really go for that. But even when we did it at the Borders, I think it was called, at which across the river, is that Borders bookstore?
Probably
Or which
Barnes
one
and
is that?
Noble.
Barnes and Noble, yeah, it's a
Yeah,
Barnes
because
and
I'm
Noble.
right around the corner from Barnes and Noble, and I've
Oh,
considered there too, because what's her name? What's her name? Doris Washington is always at Barnes and Noble.
Oh,
always,
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
and I'm wondering if she actually, like, she seems to sell well there, but how much is she taking a cut? They take a cut
They
from,
take 45 to 50%, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah,
and then
yeah.
then you have to look at, upscaling the price of your book.
But
Hmm.
she travels also. She goes everywhere. But she said she just enjoys letting people, you know, she may sell 10, 15, 20 books. And but she puts out her own money to travel there.
Yeah,
Then
and
you have
to
to
me,
give half
that's
the
just
money to
too
the
much.
people. Yeah, it's a lot, you know.
Yeah, I have to look at it as like if it's if I'm going somewhere and I want to vent and it's somewhere like I want to support, like when I vent with you, it's because not only do I vent because I want to support you, but
Yeah.
then it's like the community that we're all in together.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
and there's sometimes that you go to those places and it's like you have to give half of your profits over, and it's not really your
Um,
community.
I know, absolutely. You know what, the thing I want to really start emphasizing is a corner where the authors can actually read and showcase themselves, you know. So a lot of times we have vendors and you just stand there, you know, and you may get up to the microphone and get a chance to do a poem. But I think if we actually had a corner where, you know, Road Brad is going to be featured for the next 20 minutes or so, boom, then, hey, we're going to have another reading by, and because they did that down in Washington, we went to the National Book Conference, whatever, and they had tents everywhere. And so you knew what was going to happen when, and you got a chance to go hear the writer, and then you could decide if you wanted to buy their books. And that was very effective, you know. And it wasn't like you just got up and read one poem and nobody's listening, and you know, then you sat down. I'd much rather have a corner or someplace where people can really experience you, and then you can sell your books and make profits, you know.
But see,
Yeah.
now what
So,
I like to do
mhm.
is I don't want to just read the poems in my book, because if I've read them to you, how many more times are you going to read them? So what I've started doing is developing I call them my reader's magnet poems. Poems I probably will not publish because I'm finding the frequency of them as I write them so often. So I've started taking some of them, like a couple of them that I just sit and put in notebooks. They're going to be reader magnets. So when I go to those places and I do book signings or poetry readings, I'm not going to read from the book that I want you to buy. I'm going to read you samples of my writing style is. So you get to know me as a poet, but then when you buy the book, you're going to get all new fresh poems in there.
I will tell you that that's a great idea, but that goes exactly against what I just got to reading. It said people, after you read it, people want to have it. So if you read something that's not in your book, they're gonna be like, wait a minute, that's not even in here.
I
So
mean,
yeah,
I wouldn't do that totally, but I mean, I would not read like when you said 20 minutes.
well,
I
yeah,
don't know if I would read the whole 20 minutes of just my poetry. I
but
would
you can
probably mix
talk.
it
No,
up.
people didn't just read, they talk. That you got to introduce yourself as a writer.
Yeah.
And people don't usually buy the book just because of your writing. They buy the book because of your personality. So
That's
that's the other thing they talked about too. They said that you have to sell yourself as well as the book. So we all say Maya Angelou. Well, Maya Angelou's a great writer, but think about it. If I buy Maya Angelou's book and those poems aren't in that book, I'm
Oh,
like,
I would let them know. I mean, I wouldn't just say I'm gonna read a poem. I would let them know. Like I wouldn't I would not read all of my poems, but I would read some of those poems. But I would say, here's something else that I've written.
well, some people, what they did was, well, at the National Book Fair, you learned as much about the author as you did about their writings. So they'll tell you the impetus of it, where it came from, why I decided to write this here. It was really just well done, you know. And so, but anyhow, I just got to reading a piece. It talked about the most poetry books are sold by poets who get up and read their poetry. And then people want to say, I love that poem, or you got to read this poem, or you got to see this poem. So if I hear a poem that you read and I
Combination
can't
of
take it home
both,
with me,
though.
yeah, they said then
Yeah.
that's you know. But anyhow, but no, but you may be right on the money. Just do it the way you want to do it. I'm just telling you something I just read, you know. And so, well, I usually only buy stuff because I heard it and I said I like that, and so I want to get that and I want to share that with somebody or whatever. That's been my experience. But you may be right on to something big. You know, maybe that's the best way to do it. You know, so don't let me talk you out of it. Yeah. Let's do this here. We only have what is it?
Oh, 1
Okay,
minute.
only a couple minutes
Yeah.
left. Yeah. Yeah, y'all come on so late. It's like, wait a minute.
Oh, I was
So let's do this
rushing.
here real quick. Let's the Zilda, if you have another poem. Did you wait a minute? You didn't read it all, did you, Ro?
I just read the
Yeah,
one
she
on
does.
Juneteenth.
You did read that one. Okay, yeah, wait a minute. Yeah, I'm still listening when you said I didn't read yet. Okay. I
That was
went too
before I
far
read
back.
that.
Rewind. I went too far back. Okay. All right. Let's close it out with if you have a piece. Okay, why don't you go and do it?
Yeah.
A couple minutes.
I did this one today. I call it, I pull the words out of my mouth. I love you. You are more than a conqueror. Think about your daughter. You have to love yourself. You got to be strong. And the list goes on. I fought hard to say those words. I felt as if those words got stuck in my voice box. I felt the budge, the I and the O and the E and the U, like the vowels and the others that tried to get my attention to say. It wasn't alphabet soup that I ate. It was the words that choked me. It felt like the desert, dry and hard, no life. I had to grab them and pull them out. I had to make sure it spewed life into you. I had to make sure that you felt them in your innermost self, that the words was airlifted as gravity took place and sent them through the phone lines into your ear. You had to listen. The demons fled as they saw the words entering your soul. They screamed in horror and jumped instead. That could have been you, as the words that was lost gave you life instead. You could have been dead. The words that came to save you, will you keep them? Or will someone else have to pull them out, just like I did for you? That's
All
it.
right.
Well, thank you. That's a good way to
Yeah.
end.
The words.
Bro, how can people reach you if they want to get some editing or get a book done or whatever? What's your contact information?
They can reach me on Facebook at Ro Brady Productions or IG at Ro the Literary, or they can reach out to me through email at rbclean, CLEAN, pages, PAGES, editing, EDING, or EDITING at gmail.com.
All right, good. And that, I hope you're gonna be around one of these days to sing for us again. We love your singing. And also your words. We like the fact that you're writing more. That's good
Oh,
stuff
wait a
as
minute.
well.
Before we go, real quick, I wanted to tell you there is a woman named Tabitha who does a late night poetry show on IG.
Okay, very
Yeah.
good, very good.
What's
Uh-huh.
IG?
Go find out more about that.
On
Now, this is
Instagram.
Oh.
Instagram. Yeah,
Yeah,
Instagram.
it's I was trying to find it when
Okay.
it's
Well,
Raining Poetry Sync.
good.
Yeah, if
Well,
you
listen,
go
we're gonna
on
let you
there,
go.
she'll
We
be
run out
live.
of
She'll be
time.
live at 10.
Okay, I'm gonna let you go. I'm gonna thank Brother Chris. I try to be a good steward to his time. But God
Yeah.
bless everybody. Thank you so much and have
Yeah.
yourself a great
Maybe
weekend.
I'll run into you tomorrow.
I hope so. Okay.
This
Good night.
weekend. This
This
weekend.
Good
See you
night.
now.
Y'all
Okay.
be safe.
You
Right.
too.
Yeah.
Bye.
Okay. Be blessed.
Mhm.
Blessings.
Woo! See you in the morning, Michelle.
Okay, right.